Good morning, everybody. More they do, here. Recently, on the official Fear and Hunger account, the developer Miro posted a time-lapse drawing of a new enemy from the upcoming update, called the Minotaur. On stream, we took a close look at the design to try and get some more hints about the new content. Let me know what you think. So Miro posted this yesterday? So this is him drawing a new boss monster. I believe he says it is. It's a boss monster. Which is pretty cool. It's definitely not Pav, because Miro said he already had a design of Pav. So he wouldn't need to redraw it. Let's just skip right to the end. It's cool. Like, here, I'll link this. It's really cool to watch, though. Go check it out. This is so you can see some of Miro's drawing process. Is that a stinger? That is a stinger, isn't it? Oh, God. This stinger has a light on it? That's funny as. Yeah, I guess that is a stinger. I thought it was like a pipe, but people keep saying it's a stinger, so. Guy's serious talent to just throw that out. He does. He's really good artist. So he just posted this and he just said, let's draw a Minotaur. So I guess this thing's name will be the Minotaur. He says, just drawing a boss monster. Might still work in progress. Not entirely satisfied with all the elements, as may be evident as I go back and forth with some of the decisions. I originally drew this thing months ago, but lost the sprite when I had the infamous laptop meltdown. This is just redrawing the thing from memory and finalizing some design elements. That's the reason why I came up with the basis of the design pretty quickly. So this thing's probably going to be called the Minotaur, if it ends up in-game, you know, because it seems like he might want to change it around a bit. Bigger than Chagner? Yeah, this thing's going to be huge. This thing's going to be ridiculous, isn't it? I reckon it'll be as big as Poe in-game. And I responded... Just quick thoughts, you know, Minotaur was a bull creature roaming around the maze. Headlights, like what was on in front of... Because you got the headlight on his stinger there. And it's very similar to a train light. And the tunnels... So, to get to the White Bunker, you had to go through the museum. Like, the Bremen army dug through the museum to get to the White Bunker. But you can see train track tunnels that have been collapsed. Probably on purpose by the Eastern Union army to stop the Bremen army from getting in there. And it looks like this guy's got a big digging... Can we open that up? Kinda, yeah. Digging instrument of some kind. And if he's got the lights, it means he's roaming around the tunnels. And I'm like, yeah, so maybe we're getting a train tunnel maze. Which would also, and I don't think I mentioned it here, but Miro mentioned at some point that he's adding a bunch of underground sections too. And then Miro responded, these are some good deduction skills. Oh boy. So Miro has a laugh sometimes, right? So always take what he says with a grain of salt, right? But if he's not having a laugh, this could be pretty close to what we're actually getting. We might be getting the train tunnels, and this guy might be a big boss monster roaming around there. I think he has the golden headpiece because the Bremen army was digging underneath the museum, and the museum had a bunch of old trinkets from Mahab. And of course, Mahab had the new gods with their dinosaur new gods, so it would make sense that he would have a golden mask from there if they were digging through the museum. Now, what exactly that means for the game, does that mean we'll get an alternate path to the White Bunker? Like, who knows? Who knows exactly what's going to happen, right? Maybe we'll be getting an alternate path to the end game. Maybe the... Well, actually, I remember, yeah, Miro was posting some stuff from the area where you fight Moonless. Ages ago, before Laptop Meltdown. He was posting some stuff from the area where you fight Moonless and talking about the cave walls there. So it wouldn't be that surprising if that sort of ended up linking to the train tunnels, because that's actually quite close to where the train station is. So... Senpai noticed you? Yeah. On the way to the machine guard, there is an abandoned empty place, so maybe there'll be something new added there. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of space for areas for stuff to be added, right? Tunnel escape to the east. That's what I'm expecting, because we have the fishing village will be added on the east, and that will link the early game and the mid game. And perhaps the tunnels are an alternate way to link mid game and late game. Because right now, the only way to link mid-game and late-game is to get the effigies, the 3 effigies, and then go and fight... what's his name again? Rancid. So maybe this is an alternate way in. Maybe you can get to the end game if you... Say, like, maybe you turn on the telelectroscopes, and then that opens up a second path to late game. but you have to fight Minotaur instead of Rancid, right? Maybe it's something like that. That would make sense, right? Or maybe there's just a whole bunch of extra tunnels down there. And maybe it's just a new area, a new way to navigate the games, like beneath the sewers or something like that. Lots of options. There's lots of options for that, isn't there? Either way, I'm pretty excited to see what's coming. We might get some more old lore too, some old lizard lore as well, if we're getting slightly more museum stuff, which would be pretty cool. This guy's face is really interesting though, isn't it? It's kind of like bunny-esque, isn't it? Do you reckon this guy's a marriage? Doesn't he kind of look like a marriage? Because the marriages have weird, really weird limb placement, don't they? But on that note, marriages usually don't have massive dicks. That might not actually be a dick. It might just be like a tube attached to that. It kind of looks like one though, doesn't it? It's the same skin color. He has the proportions of a marriage, but it could be a marriage between a human and a moon scorch. That'd be interesting. Kind of small for a marriage. It's big. Like it's fucking huge. Marriages are pretty big boys. It is big for it. Actually, you know what? It might be too big for a marriage, unless it's an abominable marriage. Marriages usually have big dicks more than they do 2023. It's true though. To the point where the abominable marriage's dick specifically stops working. But he has the weird sort of bunny face. So I'm wondering if this is some sort of Sylvian influence. It's too big even for an abominable marriage. Yeah, abominable marriage would be like Chaugner size. Like slightly smaller than Chaugner. Because Chaugner's fucking huge. Chaugner picks you up with one hand and smushes your head. So abominable marriage would be max about Chaugner size. So this guy's pretty fucking big. It is a dick. In the video you can see he draws a urethra at first. All right, we have to double check that. Here we go, boys. Let's see. Oh yeah. Maybe you can break the mask in battle. If that was the case, he wouldn't have drawn it on there. So I don't think so. That being said, this is like a first version of this design. So you know, we'll see how it actually ends up, right? There we go. Now he's covering up with the light. Is the light stuck in his urethra? Dude, no. Could he be a guard marriage? Let's think. Could he be a guard marriage? Because we know that Lagarde has been doing a bunch of experiments with stuff that are from the dungeon. He has multiple hydras. Or actually, it's not sure if Masamode is canon. So he has at least one hydra. He has a Chromauler type deal going on. And the regular Bremen soldiers might be marriages as well. Because he's big and he's grey like the guards. And he has a big stinger like they do. So, I log in and urethra Triceratops miss me again. Guard marriages are generally uniformed. No, like the guards from the first game. How they had weird proportions as well. Let me pull it up, actually. Like, you can see it, right? You can see it. The guard even has a funny urethra as well, doesn't he? Let's pull that up. Jamie, pull that shit up. You can see what I mean? Not to say definitively, though. I'm not gonna call it yet. We'll definitely need to wait and see. Well, we need to wait and see what the final design is straight up, right? You know. But don't think it's a marriage. Let's pull up the marriage. Let's have a look at the marriage. So yeah, this is a marriage, right? Regular marriage, abominable marriage. It's not really looking like a marriage, is it? Because they usually have like clear delineation between the two parts that are joined together. So it could be a moon scorch guard. That'd be super interesting, wouldn't it? Those arms, the arms are skinny, aren't they? Like compared to the guard, the arm is really skinny, isn't it? And the guards are jacked. It's just that we've got this rabbit kind of face. It's making me think it is more of a moon scorch than anything, really. Some weird Bremen experiment. Oh, you know what? It could be like with the guards, because the darkness mutated them, and because it's underground, and we know the darkness is in Preheval because we see it in the Mayor's Manor. It could just be the darkness just mutating this dude, right? It could literally just be as simple as that. So feels like a marriage is based on the proportions look mixed up. That's what I was thinking, because the proportions are weird. Like, you know, it's very specifically his arm is all like twisted and tiny compared to his legs, and like It's not like Miro can't draw, right? Like, you know, compared to Chagna directly next to it, the proportions are fine, right? So, kind of Moonscorch Priest. I don't think he's a priest. I definitely think he's some sort of worker because of the light and the heavy equipment. I think the mask is literally, he just looted it from the museum, is what I think. Straps and wires and the stingers like, make it look intentional, like he was modified or made for a purpose. No, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. How he mutated, and they're like, you know what? This guy is going to be really good for something in particular, and so that we strap him up, right? The Bremen have done experiments specifically on moon scorching because they did experiments on the bobbies. We see a video of that. So this guy could be similar, where they were doing experiments on moon scorching, and then they're like, well, now we have this big hulking brute running around. Can we do something with him? Well, we need to dig some stuff out, so send him down the pit, right? That could be what's happened. I feel like it would have more detailed if it was really a bunny face. Like Miro would have straight up put a whole bunny there if that was the case. Yeah, it could just be like just a weird twisted face, couldn't it? I guess the question is, why would they need to clear out the train tunnels at that point? I guess they still want to actually use logic, right? They don't want to have to go through the museum each time, so they still do need the train tunnels. Could the Triceratops tail be related to the lizardmen or greater blight? I 100% believe that's the case, yeah, because the only other references to dinosaurs in the game is in regards to the blights, to the point where it's not even clear that there were dinosaurs outside of the blights. It seems that the dinosaurs are just straight up blights, just new gods, lizardmen new gods. So that's why I'm positive he went to the museum, because that's where all the stuff related to the blights is in the museum. I reckon he pinched it from the museum because it's funny, basically. What did the mask cause the mutation of that hammer light? That'd be something new, I think. I don't think anything else has really done that before. Obviously, we can't, you know, we won't know for certain until we actually get it in-game, but as far as I'm aware, nothing has done anything similar to that before. An early escape in the first game, maybe this boss will unlock a way to just walk away from the game. Oh, that'd be interesting, yeah. Well, Miro did say he wanted to add an ending E, which is like a cop-out ending, like there was in the first game. So he could be related to that, yeah. Maybe there's like a train tunnel going north, and you can just leave that way. This dude's the rug boss, RNG boss. He appears at random times. Well, he could chase, so because it's a Minotaur, and the fact that it's called Minotaur implies that it's in a maze, right? So what I'm thinking is that it's in the train tunnels underneath the city, which is a bit maze-like, and he could be roaming around. He could actually be a roaming boss, like the mob or something similar like that, right? Which would be sick. Another roaming boss would be sick. Or maybe more similar to something like a centaur, rather. But which would actually follow with the mythology, wouldn't it? The centaur and minotaur. He doesn't seem to be... Now, obviously, centaur is a result of sulfur cult meddling. This guy doesn't seem to be related to sulfur cult. Gold is the element of the sun, but I don't know. It feels a bit stretching to say this guy's related to the sulfur cult, doesn't it? You know, we'll wait and see, right? But I'm not really seeing any strong connections here. So, Minotaur is a lot better put together than Centaur. Yeah. If he's a fake marriage, they definitely did the stitching a lot better, didn't they? I think we can stun lock his arms. Okay, so yeah, let's see. What can we attack on this guy? What can we cut up in this guy? Right? Definitely the head. Probably not the mask. I don't think the mask can be hit, because if that was the case, then Miro would have drawn him without the mask. Now it could be a fake out. Because he hasn't drawn a damage version as well either. So the way Miro seems to work is that he draws the full version and then he draws the damage version. So the mask may be able to be knocked off. So you know what? I'll do it. Let's call it. Let's say the mask can be able to be knocked off, right? The light, obviously, I think the light will make... I have a feeling that the light will make it harder to hit until you break it. Okay, let's see. What I personally reckon is that his right arm will be included in the weapon, is what I think. So I think his right arm and the weapon will be one piece. And then his left arm. It could be that both of his arms are together, actually, because it feels like, he kind of feels like the ballista guard, right? Where his arms are sort of together, doesn't it? Mask might not fall when broken to smash. Yeah, I hope we get that as a headpiece, but he's huge, though. This is fucking massive. We wouldn't be able to wear it, unfortunately. He's going to have a charge attack. He's absolutely going to have a charge attack. You know what? I'm going to call it. I'm going to say that... Oh, don't do that. I'm going to say that his arms are all one piece, is what I reckon. And then, of course, the torso, right? That's what I reckon he will be broken up into. I think the head piece is bigger than Marina. It honestly could be. This is massive. Oh, and light. You have to have the light as a separate piece, right? Don't you? Light. I reckon it'll do something like it makes your chance to hit lower until you break it. I reckon that something like that'd be sick. Or it has a special attack where it can like blind you for a turn or something like that. Will they use the stinger as a whip though? Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Not the blindness, like temporary blindness. So I don't know. There's a few different status effects in the game. There's some status effects in Termina I don't even know what they do. They just never come up. They appear in like one fight and you can just ignore it. Lamp would be warm, so maybe burn damage if it swings at you. Oh, maybe. Maybe he can whip with it. It kind of does look like... Because like the cable goes around the stinger, but it's not like taped to him, so maybe he could swing with it. Maybe if you break his arms, he can attack with his stinger now. Instead of tackle, he has a dick whip that can stun you. And like maybe it doesn't actually attack unless this arm is broken here, which happens sometimes, right? So this arm here doesn't actually do anything until this one's broken, and then it just does like slam or something like that. You know, that happens, so. Can't wait for the Marco vs Minotaur solo video. So it's going to come out in the first 5 minutes after patch. Someone will figure out a way to completely negate Minotaur, have it locked in a corner where it can't actually do any damage, and then have a fight where it just completely just does nothing and just break in 5 minutes. You know what people are like, they'll do it. Maybe he's blind without Stinger. Oh, that's interesting. So like in the Platoon fight, how Platoon freaks out when you kill Sylvian Trooper. Maybe he freaks out when you break the light and he starts doing attacks randomly. That'd be interesting. What I hope is that, like, you know, this light makes it harder for you to hit, but if you break it, he starts dealing more dangerous attacks. I think that'd be cool. That'd be sick. That'd be super sick. So the Minotaur has been equipped with 2 weapons, the jackhammer and the modified dong, all according to plan. Oh, this boss is sick. I really like this design so far. You just from his name and what he looks like, there's so much you can sort of theory craft about it, isn't there? It's great. I love it. I love it.